Are you in the storm with me? Be encouraged. Do not be afraid. I'm with you.
So why not step out and understand that, you're not doing it alone?
Putting yourself at risk, because at times you will not get the answer that you want.
This series is about Peter. He has ups and downs, ins and outs. He's enthusiastic and afraid. How is he an example for us?
Welcome to Suncrest United Methodist Church in Morgantown, West Virginia with Pastor Larry Buckland. Each week, Larry will ramble on about Sunday's sermon, impactful people and ministries, and no doubt, sports. This is The Rev Rambles On.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pastor Larry Buckland, Suncrest United Methodist Church. We want to welcome you to another episode of The Rev Rambles On. I'm excited to be with my partner here, Mark.
I'm Mark Markle, lay leader for the 9 o'clock service, and I have a bunch of questions for Larry. So let's just begin. This series is about Peter, the disciple who is probably the most confounding to me. He has ups and downs, ins and outs. He's enthusiastic and afraid. How is he an example for us?
Well, Mark, I think I speak for many, but I feel like I resemble Peter in a lot of ways. I am like to think I'm enthusiastic. I like to be a part of something greater than myself, and Peter really was excited to be following Jesus. And Peter also just said what he had on his mind, and as we're calling this series Wandering Hearts, Peter had that wandering heart and was looking for ways to find love and peace, but also a movement of following Jesus. And the adventures that we're talking about in this series with Peter, I find them exciting, but I also feel like that they speak to us because I think we can see ourselves with the way Peter has a wandering heart.
2 weeks ago, we had the story about Peter being called with James and John. And in that story, Jesus gets in the boat and says, go out and fish. And Peter says, hey, crazy. I've been there. It's not going to happen. And Jesus says, yeah, go do it. And Peter says, yes, Master, if you say, I will. And it strikes me that at that point, Peter is acknowledging Christ's presence. And he went and did it.
Yeah.
And caught a lot of fish.
Caught a lot of fish. I think he just respected Jesus enough to go out, but we have no idea the tone of that conversation, Mark. And he may have been excited and like, yeah, because you say so, I'll do it. Or it might have been Peter is tired and, okay, Lord, if you say so, for you, I'll go out and do it. Now, it's still obedient. So we're talking about the same thing, but Peter was a professional fisherman, and Peter didn't think there was any use probably going back out.
No, I agree with you. But afterwards, what he says to me is telling. I'm going to read it. He says, go away from me, for I am a sinful man. It recognizes that Christ has that. There's something about Christ that Peter needs to have in his life.
Yeah.
And so we come to this week, and we're in the boat again, and it's storming.
Yeah.
And Jesus starts to walk out to the disciples in the boat, and all of them immediately think it's a ghost.
Yeah.
But not Peter.
No, not Peter. But you got to think the rest of these disciples, they had dropped Jesus off, basically. He wanted to go to the other side, get away, get some rest. And they've spent who knows how long together in the boat. And it says, basically, it sounds like it's the next morning.
Yeah.
And here comes this person in the midst of a storm. I mean, how many people have you seen walking on water, Mark, in the middle of a storm?
None.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I feel better sitting beside of you now.
Okay.
So now that we haven't seen anybody doing that ever, you can imagine the disciples feeling a little queasy, and are they still dreaming in this morning? But yeah, Peter says, is that you? And if it is, what does he say? He says, can I come out with you?
Can I be part of it?
Yeah.
Can I be part of it?
Yeah.
That to me is still amazing. And to some degree, he steps out and walks toward Jesus, and then all of a sudden says, uh-oh, where am I? This is crazy, and starts to sink. And what does Jesus do?
He helps him.
reaches out his hand,
Yeah.
says, Peter, come.
Yeah.
It just reminds me that the disciples over and over and over again question Jesus. Even after Easter, they question him.
Right.
Thomas is the big example. And over and over and over again, Jesus says, I am with you. Trust me. Be with me.
Be encouraged.
Be encouraged.
Don't be afraid.
You use the example of the accident you had
Mm-hmm.
and then being out on the boat with the storm coming up and not knowing how to get back, and the ski jet showed up with a rope.
Yeah.
What would have happened if the ski jet hadn't have shown up?
Who knows how long we would have been out there, or could have been in some danger.
That was my thought. You could have been in some danger, but there was somebody who was aware of where you were, who was concerned about that you weren't back, and went to look for you.
I guess that means always leave somebody back at camp, right?
Yeah, and let them know where you're going.
That's right.
And when you're going to be home.
Yeah.
They could have brought the Coast Guard out maybe if this
That's
became
right.
important. But the other story you're told, to me, offers a greater insight into Christ in our life. And it was a story of the young pastor whose wife passed away shortly after they had a child, and how he would go into serious questions about life and Christ. Tell me a little bit more about that.
That the story came from the Reverend Adam Hamilton telling a personal story in one of his books. And it was about when he was visiting in the Holy Land, and there were people from, of course, all over on that trip. And one of them happened to be a young pastor from Alabama. And he shared his story. He was vulnerable with Pastor Adam, telling about when he was in seminary, found out she had cancer. And the struggle of trying to do that with also probably discerning a call to ministry. When things like that happen, I think they're very challenging to continue to pursue that. But the young man did. Continued his seminary education, getting with his wife as much as possible, doctor's appointments and things. It came to the point that they unfortunately knew that his wife was not going to make it. But after his wife passed, there were many moments that he talked about when he was questioning his call, when he was asking, where are you, God, basically? Are you in the storm with me? That he was quick to point out he didn't necessarily hear it audibly, but it was just continued to come to his mind that those words, be encouraged, do not be afraid, I'm with you.
And that brings me to the other part of your sermon, which is one I'm personally just really enthused about, is that to reach out, to step out, knowing Christ is there, don't be afraid. And it got me thinking about what makes me afraid to step out and try something. I could be embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what?
Been there, done that?
Yeah, it could not work.
Yes.
Okay, try again.
Many times.
Try again.
Yeah.
If it won't work if you don't try.
That's right. The message was called Rescue Me from Danger, basically. And it shows that our dangers come in very many ways.
Yes.
It can be as just being out on the water on a boat in a storm. It can be that you're in danger because you're not sure what turn life's going to make now. But there are so many ways that we are reminded that as the people of God are put in our lives, they're there to comfort us, to strengthen us. And then when we're asked to do that, it is just to go and be someone of a messenger, of agent of love. It's easier said than done. I'll say that. It's easier said than done because you're putting yourself at risk, because at times you will not get the answer that you want. And one of the things that I'll tell you about, which it's working out fantastic, is one of the ministries that are going on here at Suncrest United Methodist Church is our new partnership with Parish Health. And at first, some of the people receiving phone calls were a little surprised, of course, even with a little bit of knowledge that was happening. And some people are eager for visits. Not everybody's eager for a visit, but that does not mean that those student nurses are being rejected. It's just not the time
But it's a connection.
It's the
It's a connection that makes
But-
important.
Exactly. So what those individuals and families are finding out, that the people at Suncrest are reaching out in a way of love and care, not to be pushy by any means, but to just lend out that hand,
Right. Lend a hand.
lend a hand if you need it. And if you don't, know that we're here when you do.
One other thing I wanted to talk about. The hymn, the closing hymn, made me cry.
Ah,
You remember what it was?
you're going to mess me up on the title probably, but go ahead.
Take my hand,
Take
Lord.
my hand,
Take
Lord.
my
Precious
hand,
Lord, take my hand.
Precious Lord, take my hand.
Yes.
And as I was listening to that, the through the storm, through the night, take my hand. When my way grows dreary, linger near. Hear my cry, hear my call. Hold my hand, lest I fall. I mean, that's powerful. That to me is Christ in my life.
Yeah.
Uh,
You took the words out of my mouth when you said it's powerful. Yeah.
okay. Do you have a sports story you want to tell me for this week?
Oh my. Yeah, there's always great sports stories for me. Mark, Saturday I went to that Saturday that WVU played Baylor. WVU women's basketball is having a great season. They really are. And they battled back in adversity and came back and took a small lead over the Baylor Bears. But WVU women had the lead and the ball. And it looked like all they needed to do was get the inbound, probably get fouled, hope to make the free throws. And if they make the free throws, probably going to be in pretty good shape. There was less than 15 seconds to go in the game. West Virginia women's best basketball player right now, JJ Quinterly, already had 33 career high points. On the inbound, JJ kind of fumbled the ball and it went out of bounds.
Oh,
Well, no, the ball did not go out of bounds. That would have been good probably if it would have. But it was a live turnover. Baylor picked it up, went in, tried to get a layup, got fouled, missed a shot, but they made the 2 free throws, only 4.7 seconds to go. WVU was not able. And also on the foul, Quinterly also fouled out. So not only did she fumble the ball, so she had her own storm, if you will.
yeah.
And she assumed responsibility after the game, and it made me think of it during this message here that she probably felt like she let her team down, and she did not let her team down. One play does not usually cost a whole 40-minute basketball game. That's
No.
right. So there were other things, but I know that she will step back up, and that team will too. They're exciting to watch. It was one of the best women's crowds I'd ever seen at the Coliseum. I even had a couple of members here because I wear my heart on my sleeve too, my wandering heart after WVU lost, and I was there by myself Saturday. And so when the game was over, I just took off and started walking, and I had parked because there was such a great crowd. I had to park at the Creative Arts Center.
Oh, okay.
And so I had some members of the church here say, "We saw you at the end of the game. We tried to catch you, but you were gone." I said, "Yeah, I was over it." But at the same time, while I was over it, I'm proud of that team on what they've done in a crazy year. And then also recently, Mark, the WVU men played Kansas State, and we were having, you were in the meeting with me. We had a finance committee meeting. And can I make a confession?
You were watching the game.
I wasn't watching.
Okay.
But I did have the play-by-play kind of being streamed on my phone while the meeting was going on. And so as I was doing that, West Virginia was down by like 25 points. So being over it like I was after our meeting, I went to the grocery store and even turned the radio off when I got in the car. When I got back in the car from the grocery store, I turned the radio on, and West Virginia was only down 2 points.
I know you almost missed.
Almost missed a great comeback, and they had a great comeback, and then unfortunately didn't make a couple free throws, and the game goes to overtime, and West Virginia does not prevail in overtime. So it was a hard week for WVU sports, but there's all kinds of other great things that people don't know about and talk about. The cross country team won a Big 12 championship in the relay. Tennis team's doing fantastic. So there's lots of fun going on for me.
The one team that I don't follow, but I keep aware of is the rifle team.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. That rifle team is just incredible.
It is, and they're getting ready to host the NCAA championships here in Morgantown.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so that'll be coming up. So we'll definitely have some rifle stories to talk about soon.
I know a person who was on the rifle team many years ago,
Yeah.
and he tells me that it's not just aiming, but you have to control your breath, listen to your heart. It's a whole body experience to be able to do that well. And it's an amazing thing.
Well, I'm excited about W Sports and the good and the bad. I still am a fan, and I'm excited about this series we're doing. And next week's message is talking a little bit about Praise the Mount. Peter being on, kind of mountaintop experiences. And all this series is based off of the hymn that I love, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. And I think about prone to wander, prone to leave the God I love. And I think I identify with Peter with that. There are times in our lives when things are not on that mountaintop experience and we struggle, but I look forward to sharing these messages with the congregation and our friends here.
I look forward to hearing them.
Well, thank you, Mark. We look forward to the next time we get together for another episode of the Rev Rambles On, and we hope you'll continue to listen. And if you have any thoughts that you would like to connect with us or the people at Suncrest United Methodist Church here in Morgantown, West Virginia, we would love to hear from you. So you can contact us at suncrestumc.org on our website. So we look forward to seeing you again.
Look forward to seeing you on a Sunday.